And overnight tonight, we're going to see those temperatures dip into the 20s to start the new work week. Don't worry, we keep the sunshine around and that wind out of the south. It'll get breezy again, and those temperatures will rise. Tomorrow, we're back above average. How long will this warming trend last? I'll tell you as your news starts now.
Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA News at 10.
A new bill that may fix the affordable housing crisis in Arkansas will receive its final vote tomorrow. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kelly O'Neill. KNWA's Katie Davila in Fayetteville with why homebuilders say this bill is built on a solid foundation.
The more rules and regulations you have, the more it's telling people that are lower income earners that you don't want them living in your city. And we don't want that in Northwest Arkansas.
Senate Bill 170 awaits approval on the House floor.
Particularly in Northwest Arkansas, where you see so much growth going on. Prices get elevated so fast, there's nowhere for workforce housing to live.
If passed, the bill would allow more affordable housing for workforce members like teachers, firefighters, police officers, and nurses.
Arkansas already has a shortage of affordable and attainable housing, and so we hope that it will encourage more building of affordable and attainable housing.
State Home Builders Association Board of Directors member Ben Booth says with the bill, he hopes freedom is granted for all home buyers in the natural state.
Dictating what kind of landscaping you have to have, the brand or a certain style of windows, or that the exterior has to be all brick. We think it's the individual property rights of that homeowner to build and buy what they choose.
According to the National Association of Home Builders, the average house in Fayetteville costs $225,000. For every $1,000 added to the cost of a home, almost 400 home buyers are priced out of the market.
We know that in the next 10 years, there's going to be a major shortage of affordable housing. Between 20 and 25% of the cost of a home is already government regulations. We feel we need to stop this at the state level.
Excluded from the bill, commercial buildings, historical structures, multifamily homes, and neighborhoods protected by their Property Owners Association. The Arkansas Municipal League laying neutral on the bill, a position Booth calls a home run for home builders.
We worked with them with some amendments to make sure they were with us and completely neutral on the bill. It was a big win for the home builders.
This is a no-brainer for the legislature to support the people and protect their property rights, but certainly going to make a bunch of mayors upset that feel like they should tell you what color to paint your house.
In Fayetteville, Katie Davila, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News. All right, thank you, Katie. Well, our area is home to a special group of individuals who are trailblazers, innovators, and difference makers. We call those movers and shakers. Tonight, KNWA Today's Chris Fry highlights a River Valley mayor whose recent efforts were a first for the city of Fort Smith in the most symbolic of ways.
Just listening, Chris, that's what people want.
Mayor George McGill has your attention.
They want someone to share their story with.
Whether it's telling a great story,
Oftentimes, if you listen long enough, they'll solve their own problem.
or helping his neighbor.
It was always a good place to live, even during the times when I was a kid.
He's Fort Smith to the core.
I refer to Fort Smith as her because I was born here.
The son of a minister and social worker, McGill's heart was always for service and community.
Our culture was one of getting out among the people.
In spite of growing up in the segregated South, racial strife was rarely an issue.
We lived a very comfortable life, even though we didn't have much. We lived a storybook kind of life.
He attended the former Lincoln High School, an all-black school in Fort Smith. Despite the lack of resources, education was firmly rooted in every student who attended.
The culture was one of excellence. That was ingrained in the students. Everything was driven around the word excellence.
McGill graduated from the University of Arkansas in business administration. He used that knowledge to start his own company, McGill Insurance, which lasted 30 years. But as success grew in the late 70s, a bigger plan was taking shape. And it was an old friend, former state politician Carol Willis, that persuaded him to try something new.
Carol called me up and asked if I would get involved in the campaigns of Bill Clinton. At that time, I had no interest in politics. He said, but we'll have fun. We'll travel the state.
After helping Clinton win the governorship and then the presidency, McGill had a chance to serve in D.C. on Clinton's cabinet. Instead, he opted to make a bigger impact back home.
Members of the community began to approach me about serving in the Arkansas legislature. At the time, I was enjoying my retirement. They put up a good case for me going to Little Rock.
And in his first try, he was elected to the Arkansas House of Representatives, serving 3 terms. But once again, Fort Smith called McGill back home to fulfill a bigger purpose.
Will I be able to help Fort Smith from this position?
That question would be answered in a special election in August of 2018 when McGill was elected the city's first African-American mayor.
When it was finally settled, I looked out and saw a mosaic, most beautiful sight I'd ever seen. The African community was in the room, the Asian community, the Latino community, my white friends and neighbors, they were all there saying we're ready for change.
In a book full of life and adventure, a new chapter is ready to be written for George McGill.
And I firmly believe that my role has been bringing people together where we can have a common sense discussion about things that are important to all of us.
While Mayor McGill found success as a business owner and state politician, he also served in the United States Army, saying his time gave him the courage and strength to pursue his dreams at the highest level. For more features from the Movers and Shakers series, visit our website, nwahomepage.com. In our continuing coverage, a man linked to a death in Johnson County has now been arrested. Police have been searching for 29-year-old Robert Wayne Baker since the death of Christopher Farmer on the west end of Highway 352 in Johnson County, February 15th. Now the wife of the victim, Jackie Farmer, is also in custody. Farmer and Baker were spotted in a stolen vehicle trying to evade authorities at the time of the accident. Police report that a local called law enforcement early Sunday morning to report his car had been stolen and believed Baker was the one who did it. He then gave police a possible location of where they could find the suspect and the victim's wife. Right now, the two are currently sitting in custody at the Johnson County Detention Center. Around Arkansas, the Eureka Springs community continues to mourn after two teenagers died and 4 were injured after a car accident in Carroll County. The crash happened Friday night just before 5 o'clock on County Road 219 in Berryville. According to the Arkansas State Police crash report, 2 people died and 4 were injured. The victims were taken to Washington Regional Hospital, all 6 of them minors. According to the report, the vehicle was driving at a high rate of speed, lost control, and hit several trees before coming to a final stop. Eureka Springs Schools posted this to Facebook. We extend our thoughts and prayers to the families and friends of the students involved in Friday's accident. Many counselors and therapists will be on hand at the high school on Monday to assist students in their time of need. In the River Valley, a grieving family is looking to change heartache into hope. KNWA's Peyton Yeager shows us how one River Valley family is turning the loss of a child into a way to help other families remember their loved ones in a special way.
I just literally tried to spend every single moment of every day with him that I could.
The Holtzes called their son Superman.
It's like, okay, we're going to take you back to see the doctor. And I instantly knew, okay, something's not right.
After nearly 7 months, William lost the ultimate fight.
Brain malformation, seizures, septo-optic dysplasia.
The Holtz went from planning a life with their child to planning his funeral.
It's like sleepwalking. It was very surreal. You try not to think about it when you do it.
And they quickly realized the bills were piling up.
They're very expensive.
A year after William died, the Holtzes noticed there were other families feeling the same pain.
I mean, just to be able to have someone to be there to talk about it with helps, because the silence is deafening.
Brooklyn and her husband Roy decided to start the Chelsea and William Headstone Foundation to help raise money for everyone to have a headstone.
Everybody was on this earth and their story matters and they count, and it's nice to be able to help aid in that.
The first of many to receive aid from CNW, Chelsea Clifton. She was alive for less than a week.
To lose a child there are no words. There's no words at all to describe the feeling.
As the Greenwood couple walks the rows of memorials,
we don't want anybody to be without.
They look to honor all of the superheroes as their legacies become concrete.
Their family may not even be alive anymore to do that for them, and that's a terrible thing. So our goal is to make sure that everybody, big, small, tall, homeless, not, has a headstone to be remembered by.
In Greenwood, Peyton Yeager, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News.
Peyton, thank you. If you would like to donate this to the CNW Foundation, the link is posted on our website. That's nwahomepage.com. Looking ahead this week, there'll be a road closure in Springdale that may cause you to change your morning commute. Shady Grove Road between Thompson Street and Johnson Road will close from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. starting Monday. Springdale Water Utilities will be performing sewer system improvements. residents. There will be some construction work or vehicles around the area, but the company says all property will be restored to its original state once construction is complete. A 2-year-old now recovering after shooting himself with a gun. What the child's parents are claiming, that's coming up. But first, Melissa?
Well, the clouds are moving back in. Is the rain going to come along with them? That wind's not going anywhere. I'll tell you what the new work week has in store for you weather-wise after this.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Air Control.
Avoid the hassle. Call Paschal.
Paschal, the ones you can trust. McClarty Daniel Buick GMC has the best selection of new Buicks in the tri-state area and the best savings, like up to $8,000 off MSRP or 0% financing on this year's hottest Buicks. Visit BentonvilleBuickGMC.com.
7th grade teacher Andrew Young was tired of contacts and glasses, so he turned to McDonald Eye Associates for his LASIK procedure.
Having glasses or contacts are a pain when you're in the classroom and trying to teach. You need them to look at the screen, call on students, to see your computer screen. Vision is definitely very important in the classroom if you're trying to teach a class. With my new vision, I feel like I'm a better teacher. I'm glad I trusted my eyes with McDonald Eye Associates.
If you're tired of glasses or contacts, call McDonald Eye Associates to schedule your free LASIK consultation.
When we created a new definition of space, technology, and comfort, people took note. The 2018 Ford Expedition, the J.D. Power highest-ranked large SUV in initial quality.
Now get 0 for 60 plus $1,250 Ford credit bonus cash and $2,000 competitive owner bonus cash on a 2018 Expedition.
This President's Day, there's big news at Nissan Now. No brand received more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards for cars and trucks than Nissan. That means that people love their new Nissans. So we're thanking you with big savings on our lineup, including Ultima with intelligent all-wheel drive.
For a limited time, save up to $2,000 on the 2019 Nissan Altima or the 2019 Nissan Sentra.
Get to Nissan now before these offers are yesterday's news.
Ready for a new truck? Shop at McClarty Daniel Buick GMC, your premier automotive destination. Save up to $15,000 off MSRP on remaining 2018 Sierra 1500s. Start your deal online at BentonvilleBuickGMC.com.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Melissa Hall.
We started the weekend off a lot like we finished the work week. It looked dreary. We got some rain. Some people heard some thunder roll through Saturday morning. But today, hardly a cloud in the sky. We do have some clouds moving back in, but that system that brought that thunder and lightning yesterday morning, well off to the east. And look at what it is doing to New England. They have blizzard conditions to the north. It's caused flooding in eastern Arkansas. I was surprised to see how bad eastern Arkansas looked. We knew the system was going to rush through quickly, but they took in quite a bit of rain, and they have several areas that just got inundated, and now they can't use the roadways. Here today, we hardly had a cloud in the sky, and tonight, even though those clouds are moving in, we're still going to cool off. We're already below freezing. The good news is that wind, while it gets breezy again, is back out of the south. That's going to let things warm up, and we need the warm up. Things have really changed since yesterday. Look to the east of us, 20, almost 30-degree temperature drops, and we had double-digit degree drops here today with daytime high temperatures compared to yesterday, but the warmth is coming back. Even though we're close to freezing, look at how much of a difference it is down when you get south of that tunnel, almost 15 degrees cooler in the river valley. Well, like I said, the wind is starting to come back out of the south for a few of us, and by tomorrow, everyone will have that wind out of the south. It's going to stay breezy, but not as bad as today. Today we had gusts in that low 30 mile an hour range. Tomorrow we'll be in the mid-20s, and things will feel nice. Well, you can already see the new activity that's off to our northwest. That's the new system we're watching, and as it does move aboard, we are going to see a lot of cold air moving in, and even the chance for maybe even a couple of flurries, even though we're very close to spring starting. Do we wake up tomorrow morning? Let's take a look at Future Track, and it is cold. Those temperatures overnight tonight, We're looking to dip down into the low 20s outside, but good news, by lunchtime with that wind out of the south, getting breezy again, like I said, we'll be in the upper 40s, low 50s. Now this wind's going to be steady, 10, 15 miles an hour, but like I said, gusting 25 miles an hour. So ladies, if you can get away with it, you might want to put your hair in a ponytail or make sure you have your kids' hair in a ponytail because they will be able to play outside tomorrow with these nice temperatures. We'll be above average for the first time, well, since yesterday. We got into the 60s. We keep this warming trend going through Tuesday. Check out Tuesday morning. We wake up on the, I would say, not even mild, but closer to warm side for this time of year because clouds move in. And unfortunately, we have something called compressional heating where all the heat starts to get compressed in because we've got a new cold front that moves in. Now, this one comes in late Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon into the evening, and then overnight Wednesday into Thursday, things start to really cool off, and we could even be seeing some flurries with this forecast, not only overnight Wednesday into Thursday, but look at Sunday. When I was looking at the long-range models, I was not liking Sunday at all, to say the least. Temperatures, overnight low temperatures in the teens with daytime high temperatures that are actually cooler than where we should be for overnight low temperatures, not even getting out of the 20s. Next
14.
14, yeah. And fun fact, my husband and I planned on going to the horse races next Sunday. I don't even know if they'll be able to race in Hot Springs with that. Yeah, they might not even have the races. Those temperatures are that cold.
Well, I know you said spring is coming up. It felt like spring these past 2 days.
It really has been nice. Yesterday, we actually had average temperatures for mid-March, closer to April. Now, us meteorologists kick off spring this upcoming Friday, March the 1st, but everybody else, we will have spring kicking off March the 20th. So we still have about 3 more weeks until we are done with winter, but I don't think Mother Nature's done with winter.
All right, well, I can't wait for spring to come. Let me tell you that. All right, thanks, Melissa. To celebrate the hit Broadway musical Waitress coming to Fayetteville, KNWA has teamed up with the Walton Arts Center to give local pie bakers a chance to shine with the Baked from the Heart pie contest. Amateur and professional bakers can enter online through March 1st. 3 finalists will be chosen to showcase their pies right here on Good Day NWA. The winner gets 4 tickets to see Waitress and the chance to serve their pie at the show. For more info on how you can enter the contest, head over to our website. That's nwahomepage.com. Well, coming up in sports, Arkansas women's basketball had a strong performance on Senior Day. Plus, Hog baseball won 2 out of 3 this past week. We'll look at some of the bright spots from that trip out west. That's after the break.
England Dental. Quality dentistry with compassion and care. Call us today.
Hey, how was your week? My in-laws were in town. I got a standing desk. I tried quinoa.
I took the dog to the groomer.
Make your weekends more exciting than the days before them.
We drove 3 hours to the kids' swim meet.
Right now, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus a $1,500 special edition bonus on a new 2019 Tundra Special Edition. Toyota, let's go places.
There's energy in Fort Smith. It's got a great economic development team and our partnership with them where we market together. It's also about the business partners just like OG&E.
We've recruited and secured over $700 million in new capital investment, 6,000 new jobs.
Can you feel that? Can you feel the vibe? Can you feel that wave of positive energy?
With a long list of awards, including a record-setting 33 Car and Driver 10 Bests, everyone knows the Honda Accord is built to be the best. But did you know that Accord is also built right here in America? For 37 years, that's meant millions of Accords, thousands of jobs, and billions of dollars invested all across America. And right now, lease Accord for just $249 a month or 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. For details, see your Northwest Arkansas and River Valley Honda dealer.
Hey, did you know that Chevy has 7 great cars with a starting price under $26,000? Like this Camaro and this Malibu. And let's not forget this Cruze sedan and Cruze hatch. And finally, this Spark, Sonic sedan, and Sonic hatch. So no matter what you're looking for, Chevy has a car for you. That's awesome! Yeah!
Get $2,250 total cash allowance on most Cruze and Malibu models when financing with GM Financial. Plus, current GM owners get an additional $1,000 cash allowance. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Now, from Fayetteville, high on the hill, this is your Pit Trail Nation Report, sponsored by Crane Automotive Team.
Hey, what's up? Razorback basketball going in the wrong direction with 4 games left, and one of the best teams in the country waiting on Arkansas Tuesday in a sea of blue at Rupp Arena. The Hogs fall in the bad category, or our good and bad segment from this past week. They have 5 straight losses, and one more will put Arkansas's record at 500 on the season. Mike Irwin has a great story going back to the archives on U.S. Read. Baseball wrapped up the series win over USC Friday in L.A., but Saturday ended on a sour note. The latest on the Diamond Hogs trip out west and who they'll face in the return to Baum Walker Stadium this week. A 14-game homestand for Arkansas starts on Wednesday. In the meantime, softball getting the home run cycle from Danielle Gibson. At this time next week, we'll be talking about the first weekend of this Arkansas spring football season under second-year head coach Chad Morris. Hogs kicking things off Friday. Track and field among the elite in the SEC. The women #1, the men second. And, of course, we will recap the conference championships from Friday and Saturday. That's a look at what is coming up here in the Pig Trail 30-minute edition. Join us then.
All right, thanks so much, Drew. A loaded gun found under a bed by a 2-year-old. Why he's now in the hospital. That's coming up next on KNWA News at 10.
At Northwest Health, we're making it easier to see a healthcare provider. Book an appointment online with one of our primary care physicians, or walk right into any Northwest Health urgent care without an appointment. Online check-in for ER and urgent care visits saves your spot in line before you arrive. With options around the region and around the clock, the care you need has never been easier to find. At Northwest Health, we're taking your care in new directions. Visit mynorthwestanycare.com.
Do you want another truck, or a truck like no other? One that makes people say, they put what in that truck? One that has capabilities you can't find in other trucks and ushers in a whole new age. The all-new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year. For deals like no other. Come in now during Ram Truck Month.
Or right now, get an average $16,250 in total values on select 2019 Ram 1500 Classic models in dealer stock.
Dr. Earl is one of the elite 4% of U.S. physicians certified in 3-dimensional high-definition liposculpture. Dr. Earl offers the most comprehensive body contouring practice in Northwest Arkansas, minimally invasive and minimal downtime. Vaser Lipo gives a 3-dimensional high-definition result. Dr. Earl's unique Cool Sculpting protocols use 2 Cool Sculpting machines to give superior results. Come see why Dr. Earl has won Best Body Contouring in Northwest Arkansas 2 years in a row.
You're watching KNWA News at 10.
A Little Rock toddler is recovering tonight after investigators say the 2-year-old accidentally shot himself. Pulaski County investigators tell me that the gun was left unlocked and loaded under a bed, and the child's parents claim they never knew it was there. KNWA's Susan L. Corey has more.
One at a time, Connie Files lays the groundwork for her backyard garden.
I'm just getting an early start on the seeds.
As she works, she can't help but look back at what happened across the street Friday night.
We heard sirens, and I looked out the door one time, and I saw a blue light way back towards the back.
The flashing lights are gone, but it's this Little Rock trailer park where investigators say a 2-year-old's curiosity led to a gunshot that landed him in the hospital.
I just can't imagine anybody letting a child that young be able to get a hold of a gun.
The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is calling what happened out here an accident. And while this child should be okay, deputies know that isn't always the case.
A lot of times, it's not that fortunate.
The Sheriff's Office says the parents didn't know there was a gun in the house. A guest brought it.
Took the gun off and left it within reach of the child. The child went to the back bedroom and found it. When you're visiting someone's house, you need to let them know you have a firearm.
It's a step this mom knows should never be skipped.
Kid had no idea what it was doing.
Grateful there's another chance to grow.
I'm just thankful that the child is okay.
It's now up to prosecutors to decide if any charges will be filed. Investigators are calling this accidental and tell us the person who owned the gun had a concealed carry permit. Stay with us. Meteorologist Melissa Hall has a final check of your forecast after the break.
It's everything Northwest Arkansas, like the Good Day NWA Facebook page now.
Why are Subaru Outback owners always smiling? Because they've chosen the industry leader. Subaru Outback holds its value better than any other vehicle in its class according to ALG. Better than Murano. Better than Santa Fe Sport. Better than Edge. Make every adventure a happy one with Subaru Outback.
Maintain the love of your new Subaru with 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
It's the one and only Ford Truck Month, the place to find one-of-a-kind deals on Ford F-Series, and the brand with the most J.D. Power, IQS, and Appeal awards. With best-in-class towing and torque, these bad boys make the rules and break them. That's why it's America's best-selling truck 42 years straight. But like ribs at a barbecue, these deals won't last long. Ford Truck Month. It's buy now time, partner.
Now during Ford Truck Month, get 0 for 72 with 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, plus $2,800 in bonus cash on F-150.
This President's Day, there's big news at Nissan Now. No brand received more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards for cars and trucks than Nissan. That means that people love their new Nissans. So we're thanking you with big savings on our lineup, including Rogue with Pro Pilot Assist.
Save up to $3,000 on the 2019 Rogue, or save up to $2,000 on the 2019 Sentra.
Get to Nissan now before these offers are yesterday's news.
Today we're here to talk about trucks.
I love trucks.
Well, what truck brand comes from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road?
I think it's the Chevy.
Ford.
It's not Ford.
I think it's Ram.
Not Ram either.
That's
Chevy.
Gorgeous.
Current GM owners get a total value of $10,250 on this Silverado when you finance with GM Financial plus 1 year Sirius XM All Access package. See your Northwest Arkansas Chevy dealers.
Embrace the crunch. Sunday is National Tortilla Chip Day. You can eat your chips as is or spice them up with some salsa or guacamole. And for proper chip etiquette, make sure you don't double dip. If you come up with any creative dips for your tortillas, share it online using hashtag National Tortilla Chip Day. Melissa, what kind of chips do you like?
I like tortilla chips, but I'm a guac fan. And yeah,
Love
never
guac.
double dip. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan as well. Double dipping is not okay.
We were also talking about queso. Like, that is my I think I like queso even more than guac.
Honestly, no. Cheese and carbohydrates combined, you have me. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Unless you can put some meat in there as well, and then...
You just can't go wrong.
No, you can't go wrong. You go wrong. Now, I can't go wrong with the forecast the next couple of days. I can't get to take credit for it, obviously, but it is a nice one. Now, get our NWA Weather Authority on the go app because there are huge changes that go along with it. We start the work week off great. That wind's breezy, but it's back out of the south. We're back in the 50s. We get into the 60s. And then Wednesday afternoon and the evening, a new front rolls in. Things cool off. We get a cold, rainy day on Thursday. Friday, that sun comes back out again, but look at next weekend, huge cold front.
All right, that's all for this half hour. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.